Deep within the ancient forest, as the first rays of sunrise touched the ground, the red ant kingdom awakened to a day unlike any other. Thousands of red ants moved in perfect harmony across the detailed forest floor, surrounded by leaves, soil, and glowing morning light. Guards stood proudly on top of the giant anthill, watching the horizon for danger. Soon, the red ant army marched out of the colony in organized formations. Their tiny armored bodies reflected the warm cinematic sunlight as they advanced through the forest with discipline and courage. But far beyond the peaceful lands of the red colony, darkness was approaching. From the shadows emerged the terrifying black ant empire. Massive black ants crawled aggressively across the forest floor, their sharp mandibles wide open as they charged toward the Red Kingdom. The atmosphere suddenly became tense and silent before the war finally began. One giant black ant stepped forward, threatening the defenders while the red soldiers prepared themselves for battle. Then chaos exploded across the battlefield. The black ant army surged forward like a dark wave, but the red ants quickly formed defensive lines among the soil and fallen leaves. The ground shook as thousands of ants collided in brutal combat. Red ants launched themselves fearlessly at their enemies. Dirt and leaves flew into the air, while cinematic sunlight pierced through the dust and shadows of war. In the center of the battlefield, a brave red ant warrior locked mandibles with a massive black ant soldier. The struggle was intense and violent, filled with dramatic tension and epic close combat. From above, the battlefield looked like an ancient war between two unstoppable armies. Hundreds of ants fought across the forest floor while chaos spread in every direction. But the red ants refused to surrender. One powerful red ant lifted a black ant into the air as the black army slowly began retreating. Standing on a rock above the battlefield, the red ant general shouted commands to rally the remaining soldiers. The red army charged again with unstoppable force. Mandibles clashed violently. Bodies collided. Soil and leaves exploded into the air, while beams of sunlight cut through the battlefield like fire. Inside the underground tunnels of the anthill, the battle continued in narrow glowing chambers illuminated by warm golden light. Black ants attempted to invade the heart of the kingdom, but the red defenders held their ground. After hours of brutal fighting, the red ants regrouped to prepare for one final attack. Then emerged the young red ant hero. Slowly approaching the black ant leader, the small warrior stared forward with fierce determination before launching into the final strike. The battlefield erupted once more into total chaos, but this time the red ants gained the advantage. The black ant empire began collapsing. Red ants overwhelmed their enemies while the surviving black ants fled toward the dark edges of the forest. Victorious red ants stood proudly in the center of the battlefield as silence slowly returned to the jungle. The soldiers returned to the anthill to protect the precious eggs, because protecting the future of the kingdom had always been their true mission. As sunset covered the forest in golden light, the battlefield remained scattered with the remains of war, yet the red ant kingdom still stood strong. The red ant hero approached the general while dramatic rays of sunlight illuminated his victorious face. The soldiers carried away the defeated enemies while peace slowly returned to the colony. But suddenly, the remaining black ants launched one final desperate counterattack. Another violent clash erupted. Soil and leaves burst into the air as both sides fought with everything they had left. At last, the red ants crushed the final assault completely. The black ants retreated forever into the darkness, while the victorious red army advanced across the battlefield with pride. From high above the forest, the entire battlefield could be seen. The red ant kingdom had won. As the sun disappeared beyond the trees, the red ant hero stood at the entrance of the anthill while the entire colony celebrated their victory. And in the final cinematic moment, the red ant colony stood proudly atop the giant anthill beneath the glowing sunset sky, their kingdom stronger than ever before.